what's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of this podcast that we still don't exactly have a name for yet. It's a combination of two of your favorite shows.
Combination.
Comics are dope. Comics I copped. And we're talking about our favorite comic books of the month. In this case, that would be August 2025. I hope everybody out there is doing great, living their lives to the fullest. I know it's been a crazy time. I mean, my man BJ has been going through it himself, straight up and down, but we here to talk about some comic books today.
For sure. Yeah, I didn't even read a ton of comics this month. I got halfway through the month and my computer just started acting up. I was like, I just kind of stopped everything to get this fundraiser thing going so we can just replace some equipment around here. It's overdue.
Yep. And you've been even selling a lot of your comics, I saw. So
Yep. So put a bunch of stuff up for sale because you know what? It can sit here and look pretty, or it can buy me a computer. So
there it is. Well, if you haven't heard already, make sure you head over to Comics Are Dope. Make sure you hit the follow, the subscribe, all that good shit on that channel over there. Please make sure you do that and make sure you support my mans because, like I said, he's been going through it and he brings you, really incredible comic book content every week, pretty much damn near every day. There is too many videos already up there. So, if you don't know about it, now you do. Make sure you hit the follow and subscribe on it. And, we'll get back to these comics.
Much appreciated.
Oh, of course, brother. You know how we do. So what do you have up first for, our top comic books of August?
Yeah. So, last month we had a lot of fun talking about Marvel Knights, The World to Come. So I thought I'd bring back another Christopher Priest book, brand new series debut.
Okay.
Dynamite. This is Sonya Reborn, issue number 1. All right. Christopher Priest and Alessandro Miracolo. Now, I generally stay away from Red Sonja. Like the double dutch you have to play to get a Red Sonja cover that's not just a complete thirst trap is crazy.
It is.
So it's I generally avoid that title. But the premise of this one is this British lady basically wakes up in the body of Red Sonja during the Hyborian age.
Okay.
And, she has her little squire dude who's little sidekick on these missions. And the whole time she has her consciousness, not Sonya's. And so she's trying to what are we doing? She wakes up in a pool of bodies and it's yo, we got to get out of here. And the dude's no, you did that. So it's a really fun primer on what sword and sorcery can be. And because I've not read a ton of sword and sorcery, it was really cool. But before she even gets into Red Sonja's body, we're introduced to her as this sort of, I don't know if she's an accountant, a secretary, some buttoned up desk job English lady who's kind of at her wit's end. Her marriage is failing. Her husband stepped out on her or whatever. And she's got this idea she's gonna go and kill his mistress. And so
wait, as a regular ass clerk?
Yeah, she's she got off work and it's just kind of all right, blah, blah, blah.
Enough of
Find this lady now. And so, but you could tell she's out of her element. And so I don't know if it was she was gonna kill the lady or the lady was gonna kill her, but either way, there's a chase. It gets out of hand and she falls in a subway, rail, or falls onto the subway. And so when she falls onto the tracks, she I guess knocks herself out cold and wakes up as Red Sonja. And so the rest of the issue is all the hijinks of this proper English lady waking up in a chainmail bikini and all that. But I felt what was just as interesting was everything that led her to that moment. Because when you're reading the synopsis, you just think it's okay, cool, proper English lady is Red Sonja. And it's well, no, this lady has a mean streak of her own somehow. And obviously she's going to get brought back to it. So where she didn't necessarily have the guts to go all the way with her husband's mistress, it's she's going to have to find out real quick if she's going to survive with lizard people and stuff chasing after her. So I like it.
And then also the question is what happened to Red Sonja's consciousness?
Right, right. And we don't know that as of yet. There's no mention of Red Sonja's consciousness.
Mm. And by the end of the issue, does the Squire figure it out?
No, the Squire does not know what's going on.
Okay.
The Squire is just like, uh, you know how like the sort of tone is just like, okay. Like every time that dude talks, it's just like, yo, like, what is wrong with you? Like, yes, we're going into battle. Yes, go pick up your sword. Like, quit
Mm.
screaming. These people are gonna kill you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's kind of his tone the whole time.
Mm.
But he's the one basically teaching us how this whole sword and sorcery thing works. So, but in a very like annoyed tone.
Mm. All right, so it doesn't sound like as obviously as wild as the world to come was. If didn't hear us talking about that last month, make sure you go and check that out as well.
Yeah,
But
there's no racial hijinks to be had. And I think, to that point, Priest has always talked about how he doesn't want to be like limited, to like just giving me black characters or whatever. Like I got stories, like just let me tell the stories.
mm-hmm.
And this is one of those. It's like there's no
Okay.
controversy to be had. There's no like, oh man, Red Sonja is a black girl now, right? Like it's none of that. It's just a really fun and funny comic book. I
All
enjoy
right.
it.
All right. Just like you, I've read like sparingly Conan and whatnot throughout the ages. I know Titan has a line of Conan comics right now. It looks like Dynamite as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm a sword and sorcery fan. Dungeons and Dragons, grew up on all of that, of course. I don't know, I just never got that deep into Conan. It was one of those things I read the Wikipedia of more than I ever read any comic books or any of that, or even novels, anything from it.
Funny enough, while we are on this call, I am exporting a deep dive into Conan comics because, like you, I've not read much of it at all. Titan sent me a bunch,
Mm.
and so I went read the Wikipedia page, then read a bunch of these comics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, all right, cool. Here's
Yep.
all the Conan you missed in the last almost 100 years.
Mm.
Definitely interesting stuff, but it's like some of it's so gory. It's like I
Yes.
got preschoolers, so
Again, I once read a Conan book way back when I was a kid, and I mean a comic, and this dude got his tongue cut out, and I was like, all right, this is not for me. As a kid, it was like, nope, nope, and that image has haunted me all my life ever since then. And that's one of those things. So I was like, nah, I'm not reading this. So
okay,
never read that much Conan.
got you.
All right.
So what'd you read?
First up, I read this series just recently finished its fourth issue. It's Los Monstruos. Not sure how you pronounce it. The monsters, basically. And it's 1950s. I think I would compare it to, if you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? Remember how Roger Rabbit had Toontown? This is like Monster Town. And in Monster Town, it's filled with all the classic, basically the universal monsters, the Draculas, the vampires, the werewolves, the creature from the Black Lagoons, the mummies, all those type of, creatures and monsters live in this monster town. And the story follows a detective because it's a classic noir, 1950s detective gumshoe story where this dude is out trying to find what happened to, a damsel in distress, basically. And I really enjoyed the first four issues because it, set up this world very well. The art is really dope. And it just that classic, like I said, Who Framed Roger Rabbit type tale. And it all wraps up by the fourth issue. It seems like there's going to be more from the story. I hope there's more from it. But I just really enjoyed it as a real kind of a throwback type story. But I gotta just really shout out the art, man. The art by Jesus Marino was just really beautiful, really detailed line art, and really expressive in all the characters. It just gives you that 1950s feel, but also gets the look and feel of all those classic Universal monsters. So, really enjoyed it. I read all four issues to catch up actually because I read the first issue when it first dropped, and then I kind of missed the last two. And then four came out in August, so I caught up on that and really enjoyed it. Really dope series.
Got you. So are you a big Universal Monsters fan? Because I know they've got like what is it? I think it's Boom has been printing a bunch of like Universal Monsters short stories as of late.
Nah. Not especially like that issue's like way before my time. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, I remember what was it, the Invisible Man reboot from a few years ago? Because they've been trying to get that Dark Universe joint off the
Mhm.
ground from forever.
Yeah.
And that Invisible Man reboot, that was horrifying. That was
Right.
definitely horrifying. I skipped that Wolfman joint that just came out. I'm usually a big werewolf fan in general. That's like more my joint. Werewolves, but like my vampire stuff is Lost Boys. You know what I mean? That's like my pinnacle of vampire. And now Sinners. It's like Sinners and Lost Boys are my two peak vampire experiences in life. And nah, all that Bella, Lugosi or I don't even want to mispronounce my man's name. But yeah, nah, that's way before me. No.
Got you.
Nah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's Los Monstruos.
Yeah.
First story
Definitely.
arc just wrapped up. That's dope.
Yep. James Robinson. Oh, I didn't even realize it was about James Robinson, honestly. I was more loving the art than even peeping up who wrote it. But yeah, James Robinson wrote it. Very dope. So yeah, it's gonna get more. That man sells books. So
Right.
yeah.
Dope. Okay. So my next one, series been ongoing for a minute. This is Joshua Williamson's Superman, issue
Okay.
29,
Mm-hmm.
came out last month.
Mm.
And Josh Williamson and Dan Mora, the colorist is Alejandro Sanchez. So if you read Absolute Power, it's that same art team. Um, Absolute Power was the big event last summer where Amanda Waller tried to steal everybody's powers.
Oh, okay. I did read a couple issues of that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that basically kind of led us to the All In special.
Mm-hmm.
Where Darkseid tried to come back, they kind of like knocked him back for the time being, and they're kind of in a holding pattern. Like they set up a new Justice League Watchtower and all this stuff. So that's kind of the state of the DC universe right now.
Yep.
And so in the publishing initiative, it's been called All In since what, October of
Mm-hmm.
last year. So we're just about a year into that status quo. And to be honest, this felt like you could kind of read whatever you want or none of it and be okay because they've been doing
Mm.
absolute universe stuff as well. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, the DC universe has kind of been like meh, depending on who you're a fan of.
Mm.
But in Superman, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like they're gearing up to tell whatever the next chapter of this absolute universe story is. Because if you read the All In special, basically it's teased that, well, it's established that there are these two universes. There's the regular DC universe
Yep.
that's powered by hope, and then there's this alternate DC universe that is ruled by Darkseid and sort of driven by like that sort of fear. So that's where Absolute Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all of them, they live in that universe. And you get this idea that eventually those two universes are going to collide.
I mean, of course.
Right. And so now it seems like in the pages of Superman, we're gearing up for that collision.
Mm.
So,
All right. I just got one question there because DC has always had the multiverse, right?
yeah.
And so what happened to like, isn't there a metal universe or something? And
Yeah, so that part I'm a little bit lost on.
yeah.
I think like the comic booky explanation is somehow when Darkseid came back this last time and however they dealt with him, it basically collapsed the multiverse with the
Mm.
exception of this good one and bad one. And that's basically what we
Okay,
got right
yeah, because this is a bit side, but I've been reading the DC history, the new I'm not sure the name of it, but it's a new series that DC's putting out. I think Darwin Cook is doing it where it's like the new history of the DC universe. And it
now.
basically is saying that because there's no more Earth 2 or any of that type stuff. It's like the Justice Society was on the same Earth or
Right.
yeah, etc. Okay, cool.
So yeah, so all of that, there's been so much happening in the DC universe, but it's like I feel like there hasn't been a unifying book to
Mm-hmm.
stay on top of just the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
But in Superman, basically at the end of the All In special, we got this tease of the other side of the universe, and Booster Gold is our link between the two universes. So
Why not?
and right. And so he gets stuck in the dark absolute universe.
Oh no.
with a legion of superheroes that has been influenced by Darkseid.
Okay.
So
So
it's like in this absolute universe, it's Darkseid's legion.
hmm.
And now Darkseid's legion has just popped up in our universe in the pages of Superman.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So in issue 28, which it's been, if you've been reading the whole Summer of Superman stuff, it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what I'd say you need to read to understand the DC universe right now, ever
Yep.
since, let's say, issue 25.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they've established that, Superman knows that the world is going to be okay because he can travel back and forth to the future and see the Legion of Superheroes. And they've been inspired by him, and their society is so much better and all this, right, in
Mm-hmm.
the far future. So when Saturn Girl pops up in Metropolis and is evil, then it's like, okay, well, at what point in history did the world become this? Because right now everything's bright and cheerful in Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
So last issue, we got a surprise appearance from Superboy Prime. After we got this dark appearance of the Legion of Superheroes, Superboy Prime shows up and is like, "Hey guys, it's me, DC's Deadpool. Let's go on an adventure." And so in issue 29, it's basically like you're getting the origin of Superboy Prime. Well, him retelling his origin, and then trying to fight alongside Superman against this, like to prevent whatever this dark future is from happening. And so all of it is clearly going to lead up to whatever this new event is. I think they've got an absolute villainy one shot, something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but absolute
Mm.
bad people. It's coming out. It's on FOC this weekend. And
Absolute bad people.
right, so that's coming. But basically, the point is just it's exciting. It feels like an event when
Mm-hmm.
Dan Mora is, I don't know, they got him like locked in a basement somewhere because he's drawing like everything
Mm-hmm.
and like doing covers on everything. But they'll usually put him with like Tamara Villain or like some other colorist who has like really bright palettes. When they put him with Alejandro Sanchez, it just feels a lot more epic. It feels grim, like there's higher stakes, and that's where we are in this book. So I'm enjoying Superman right now, and yeah, usually I'm a Batman fan, but this one's got it.
Mm. Josh, they did Birthright, right? That was
Yes,
yeah,
that was
that was
Josh.
their first intro. That I interviewed them back then. Birthright's one of my favorite comics from Image, and I've always loved Josh and their writing. I know they did a Flash run, right? And now they
Yeah,
got Superman popping. So, all right, it's good to hear that they got it together. I myself have not cared about most of the absolute DC. I know Absolute Wonder Woman is pretty good. I gotta get back into that at some point. I did not like Absolute Superman like that. It was like, all right, cool, and Batman was even just that shit's just hilarious to me. That's like so over the top and ridiculous.
Batman's
Um,
the only one I'm still following. I
yeah.
Superman and Wonder Woman. Batman, I'm enjoying.
Mm.
And the other two, I wasn't even like not enjoying. I just felt so far behind. I was like, it doesn't make sense to keep buying these.
I want to get back into the Martian Manhunter one because I really enjoyed the first issue of that, and there was the kind of weirdness that I like. Green Lantern, that did nothing for me in the first issue. Sorry, that's my man's, but yeah, it just didn't hit. Yeah, but I'll probably check out some of this crossover whenever it drops. Superboy Prime is one of those characters. Like I've read him back when what was that, Countdown and all that stuff. That was like my prime DC, right? I mean, reading years. And
Yeah.
yeah, Superboy Prime was hilarious to me when he first came out and how he was just murdering people left and right and just complaining about everything. So it tracks that he would want to fight a dark version of the DC universe. That definitely tracks because he
Right.
hates all that darkness, even though he exemplifies all that darkness, which is the hilarious part of it.
Right. Right. So
All
I
right.
think the first time I read Superboy Prime, it was during Death Metal. And like this special one shot where he was basically coping with the fact that he didn't exist anymore, or like was forgotten or something. I don't know. I remember it like having a way more heart than it should have, but it hit for me the same because I didn't read all the stuff that came before.
Okay. Yeah, no, the stuff that came before was kind of like really over the top. Like when
Mm,
Superboy Prime was first introduced, he was like so over the top, and he had this armor, and he was straight. I mean, he straight up flies through this character. It was a random DC character, but straight up flies through them, murders people left and right. I mean, all these people that get murdered, and it's like he's tearing one person apart and shooting another person with his heat beams. He was just cleaning out DC's closet, basically.
got you. Okay.
Yeah, every rando in the world. All right, we'll come back to Superman in a second, but I want to jump ship for a second to probably what is my favorite book this month, and that is Orla, Orla, because I honestly thought it was Ola for the
Official
longest.
hip hop lyrics archive.
No, no, this is Orla, Orla from Mad Cave Studios. Author John Leese, illustrated by Sally Canterino. I hope I didn't butcher that, but I probably did. Colors Deborah Kelly and letterer Lucas Gattoni. And I probably butchered all of that. But basically, Orla Bard is the main character. She's a young woman, an antique restorer, romance novel enjoyer, and keen birder. You know what I mean? She is a straight nerd, just living her life, but, enjoying what she enjoys. And she has a secret. She's like searching for true love, going out on dates and all this stuff. Can't find it. Obviously the romance novelist, the woman who works in antiques, kind of quirky, all that type of stuff. And attracts a lot of bum ass ninjas, basically, sadly. As most women do, because there's a lot of bum ass ninjas in the world.
Right.
Yes. Sad to say, truth be told, one of my favorite sayings, men are trash. So
she's the main character in the Tyler Perry movie. Got it.
Yeah, but this is like the ultimate twist of a Tyler Perry movie because, Tyler Perry would have this twist be flipped because the twist is Orla has a monster inside her that she calls the Ick. And the Ick comes out whenever a bum-ass ninja becomes a bum-ass ninja, basically. Whenever a man goes too far, out comes the Ick, and the Ick is a giant, horrible monster that easily devours human beings. And so it's usually the quick end of her dates, as, they don't go too well.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Like I said, great, fantastic setup in the first issue. And then the big twist is that by the end of the first issue, after we've seen, the It come out and deal with a dude who definitely deserved it, she meets a young man who she actually starts liking and really feeling. And he asked her to
Boris
go out.
Kojo.
Huh?
So Boris Kojo. No.
Yes. So Boris Kojo asked her to go out on a date. And that's the end of the first issue with the Ick lurking in the background. Will he be Boris or will he be
that dude from The Practice?
The light-skinned dude who cut his dreads, who got them green eyes. He usually plays a monstrous dude too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm always down for comics through the lens of Tyler Perry.
Yes. But no, like I said, if it was Tyler Perry, the woman would get 8 for doing anything.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
But they would have waited till issue 5, though.
Yeah. They would have made her suffer first, of course.
Right.
10 terrible dates, and then she gets 8 by a dude.
And then just the last page is just, and she died a slow and miserable death.
Yeah. And I should have gone to church, she screams as she dies.
Oh, God. You only get this here. This is why you watch us.
Comparisons of Orla to Tyler Perry movies is something you're not going to get anywhere else. That is for sure. But no, for real, this is one of my favorite comics of the month. I love a good romance comic. I famously, harped on, oh, damn it, now I can't remember the name of the book right now. I'll come back to it in a second. But this is one of my joints so far. And like I said last month, if you have a weird title, I'm going to check out your number one. And Orla with the capital exclamation point, I was like, okay, I got to read this. And I was pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed it. So I'll be back. I'm not going to try and talk about the same book month after month, but I'm definitely going to at least give this a mention next month because I want people to read this and check it out. So Orla from Mad Cave Studios. A
Nice.
boy, a girl, and her hungry monster.
That just sounds so
What a tagline.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So should we talk about the book we both read now, or should I
Why
say
not?
for the end?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I read Ancestral Recall, issue #1. This is written by Jordan Clark with art by Adagun Ilhan. Both of these names, both of these gentlemen were members of the Milestone Initiative Talent Development Program that Dennis Cowan and Reggie Hudlin put on a few years ago.
Nice.
So that's where they met. This is their creator-owned title from Ahoy Comics. And it's basically about this dude who is a painter, like a world-renowned painter, and he's married to this older lady who's basically his manager. And long story short, she goes missing. And so when he's trying, and is the way it's set is like he's kind of displaced through time. And so he's waking up just like, where am I? What is going on? Trying to figure it out and get back to his wife, who's clearly like his grounding force in life. And as he's trying to make his way back or figure out what's going on, he keeps finding himself in these situations like fighting different people and stuff like that. But his power is, I guess we'll call it ancestral recall, but he's basically recalling the strengths and abilities of all these different figures from Black history. And, you know, as someone who studied Black history, I was really surprised by the amount of names that come up in this book that I had not come across prior to reading this book.
Yes.
Like there was one that's like the first like Black private eye that like basically inspired the entire like film noir genre.
But I was just talking about in Los Monstros. It was straight up that same,
Like, and it's like I didn't even know there was a Black dude doing that.
I didn't know that they inspired the whole film noir, genre.
Yeah, it was like in so
just
so this is
this racism is killing me inside.
Oh Lord, this racism is killing me inside.
So here's the thing, right? Like a book like this, you know, for all the talk we're gonna get of like wokeness and all whatever, right? For me, it's so enlightening. Like, and I interviewed Jordan, and he was telling me, like, you know, some of these figures he knew about, he learned about in classes or whatever, and some of these he found just doing research for this book. But the way, like, again, because he's like he has this power, and they'll just put like a little caption on the screen, like, oh, this comes from that dude. And so then you look it up, like an editor's note, the same way you would look up an editor's note, and you're like, wait. So the dude that inspired the whole film noir genre, he's a private eye that used to like record his tapes and like how he's thinking about cases and stuff like that. And he would like give these seminars and stuff. And basically like some white lady just like wrote it all down and then like sold it to Netflix. Basically. Like, and that's how the genre was born. Like,
I'm looking at it right now. It's Samuel Marlowe, the first Black private eye in Los Angeles, inspiration for Philip Marlowe. And I always know about Philip Marlowe. And I think I might even heard of Samuel Marlowe before this, but I've definitely heard of Philip Marlowe. And this racism is it's killing me inside.
Oh Lord, this racism is killing me inside.
Yes, and this is also one of my top 4 books of the month. You know, we did not discuss this before we met up to do this recording. We both always, read our books and then decide, and we were both like, yo, this book. And I'm actually happy for that because this is one of those books that I feel like really needs some love and attention because it's a creator-owned book. It's from 2 brothers. And then it's like, that's the greatness of like, once again, Blackness. We are not exclusive. You know what I mean? Because one of my favorite things about this book is the character Myron Young, probably a 16-year-old Korean Puerto Rican young woman who helps out the main character and goes on this adventure with him to help find his missing wife. And it's so dope to see a Korean Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? That's such a great combination.
Right.
And to see that represented in this book, and I know already just from how the creators are showing Black history, that they're going to get into her history, their history just as much. And that's just really dope, man. And the art, man, I really want to shout out the art because it's got that anime feel, but also a very, the Blackness is there. And then like the switching of tones for the different eras, like when you go to the black and white film noir of Samuel Marlowe, that is fire. And then later on, there's other different ones. And I know we're going to see all this different variation with the art. The colors does a fantastic job as well. Definitely, like, Orla was my favorite book because of its wildness, but this is probably my second, or tied with it, because it's just such a dope book, such a dope concept. And I really, really want people to read this, support this joint. Who's the publisher of it? Ahoy Comics.
Ahoy.
Yeah. So please check out this book, Ancestral Recall. It also has 2 dope pieces in the back from 2 other creators, Ackerman and Gurioso. And they're like, I guess you would call them experimental comics because there are a lot of text with some images, not like more traditional comics, but that's always dope when you get so much content. I love comics like that where you get like different stories in the back or different types of stories, all that.
Yeah, it's like a straight up illustrated short story.
Yep, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah, which is ironically you get a lot of those in Conan magazines, but yeah, but not.
I did not notice.
Yeah. So Ancestral Recall, no, it was one of my favorites, and it was like I had to go back because I didn't realize how long ago it came out. Issue 2 just came out this week as we're filming this.
Nice.
So go pick that up. I read this, back when FOC had come up. So I didn't realize issue 1 had come and gone. Issue 2 was already out.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries.
Okay, dope. I wasn't sure how long it was to go for.
Yeah.
So. Oh man, I want more than that.
Right?
Yeah, like this feels like something that could go, for a bit longer than just 5 issues for real. This is a strong concept.
I didn't put Bitterroot on my list this month just because it was the finale. And it's like, well, you can't go buy it. Although the trade is on FOC this week, so you could go pick it up.
Yeah, well, give that a mention, of course.
I could, yeah. So Bitterroot, the next movement, Sanford Green, David Walker, Chuck Brown. Basically, if you read Bitterroot, then it's like this family of monster hunters, and the monsters are people infected by the stain of racism. And so first volume was 15 issues long. It's set during like the Harlem Renaissance period. And so it's like you got this family from New York, and they're traveling like down south and other areas hunting these monsters. Well, the next movement basically takes the next generation of this family, sets them in 1960s Mississippi. Dope. And, of course, what ensues. So
racial hijinks.
Racial hijinks. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. That's what we'll call that. The first issue has a monster showing up on one of the Freedom Rides. Like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I read the first issue. Yep.
It was amazing. Amazing, that series. But the whole 5 issues has wrapped up, and you can get it if you are looking to pre-order it. It's not just listed as Bitterroot, the next movement. It's listed as Bitterroot Volume 4, which has me rethinking my choice to sell my original trade paperbacks, because now I'm just going to have this big hardcover and then a book that says Volume 4, and it's going to bug me.
All right. Yeah, so Bitterroot, the next movement, make sure you order, this trade paperback. If you haven't, got the rest, you won't have this same agonizing feeling that BJ is going through right now.
Right.
But, you can definitely get that trade. And yeah, Bitterroot is always one of my favorite series. Definitely worth going back and picking up the original trades as well. I think it's been optioned for a series or something. So,
I want to say Regina King is directing the movie or producing it somehow.
Okay, all right, let's go. Company. Oh, let's go. Okay, that's good to hear, because things get option and then you don't know if they're gonna make it all the way. So that's some big names behind it. So that's good to hear.
Right,
very good to hear.
I brought that up. My bad. I brought up Bitterroot because if we're fighting monsters of racism, it's like you could set that book at any time and there's going to be racists to depict, right? And so it's like the next movement's over, the original one is over. I feel like if we're going to do a volume 3, we got to set it in like 2016 Charleston or something. But you know, the but with Ancestral Recall, it's the same thing. Like there is an unlimited number of, hidden figures that we can draw powers from. Like that series could easily go like 30 issues.
Yeah, and then like I say, when you add in the other characters, like the Korean shorty, Korean Puerto
Mhm.
Rican, if she starts ancestral recalling herself,
Yeah.
Man, no, it's a great concept. I hope that this is just the first 4 or 5 issues, whatever, and then we get a sequel out of it, much like with Bitterroot, because I really want to see more from this book than just 5 issues.
Agreed.
Yeah. Ben, really all 3 of these books are some of my faves. They're all like tied for fave of the month. And this one is Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. I hope this shiny ass cover is even showing up on the screen right here. It's from DC's Black Label, which is DC's way of, like, they used to have Vertigo and Elseworlds. I don't even think they're doing Elseworlds anymore, right? It's all Black Label now.
Well, somehow Black
Oh,
Label, Elseworlds, and Vertigo all exist now again.
oh, I had no
So
idea. Why
Black
not?
Label, Black Label, the way I understand it is like out of continuity,
Mm-hmm.
mature superhero stories.
Okay.
Vertigo is still going to be your weird creator-owned stuff with
Okay.
original characters and concepts.
Okay.
And then whatever
El-
the third one is.
Elseworlds is more
Elseworlds
like
is going to be like, the
alt.
superheroes but in crazy situations. And then they're retro fitting a bunch of other titles to be Elseworlds. So like Dark Knights of Steel is considered Elseworlds. And it was basically like the DC universe with like a Game of Thrones skin over it.
Oh, weird. I missed that one.
It was actually really good. Tom
Oh,
Taylor,
wow.
that same dude that wrote Deceased.
Oh, okay.
That was really good. I'm trying to remember. There's something else that is had just now started coming out that has the DC Elseworlds label on it, but I can't remember.
So where would something be like Red Sun be?
That would be an Elseworlds.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, issue number 1 is by W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Marazzo, and Chris O'Halloran. And they are the creators who did Ice Cream Man, which is I think it's from Image Comics. It's a horror series. I read like the first issue of it, but I'm not a horror person at all. So that was pretty much my whole exposure to it. I thought it, had some great art and everything, and it was cool, but I moved on immediately.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, did not ever go back, and they had a lot of issues at that joint too. But nah, I'm good. Superman: The Kryptonite Spectrum is the complete opposite. As people, longtime listeners of ForAllNerds know, Superman, All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly, is just, it's one of my favorite comic books ever. It's probably in my top 10 comics. It's definitely my favorite Superman story. As much as I love things like Red Sun and Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, All-Star Superman is just, to me, the peak of Superman. And Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, has that same feeling. Like, immediately I was getting that feeling from this, and I was just like, oh, this is great. This is what I'm looking for. And basically, the story of the Kryptonite Spectrum is in the title. Superman he finds 4 different new colors of kryptonite, and he enlists Batman to help him as he experiments to figure out what they are, because he's like, I got to know what these do to me before a villain like Lex Luthor knows what these are doing to me. And of course, during this time, Luthor knows about these new forms of kryptonite, so he's sending things to bother and attack Superman. While Superman's trying to do this, there's also a relationship with Lois Lane going on in the background. And it's just a really dope first issue, because in the first issue, he gets exposed to, I think it's purple kryptonite, and the purple kryptonite affects his experience with time, where, like how we were talking about Ancestral Recall, just like that, he's kind of out of time. And so it uses a lot of ill things about the comic book format to show how Superman is out of time. Like, in certain panels, he'll be there and then he won't. Characters will appear they're talking, you know, captions will be out of nowhere and then they'll make sense later on as you read the comic. And so a really great first issue. Like I say, if you've ever read All-Star Superman, or if you saw Superman 2025, the movie that's out right now, I think it'll be in streaming in a few weeks, if not sooner than that. This is that type of feeling. Like, this is what you're looking for. If you came to move from the movie and you've never read a Superman comic, but you saw the movie, go pick this up, because this will give you that feeling. It's something where I feel like you don't need to know too much about Superman to get into it. It gives you all the basics, and it's pretty much like that eternal Superman story. You know, there's Superman, there's Batman, there's Lois Lane, and there's Lex Luthor, and it's cracking.
Got you.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next issue. Should be out pretty soon too, because just like this came out towards the beginning of August, so I'm hyped for the second issue, and yeah, make sure you check it out.
This is one that I was anticipating. I was familiar with Ice Cream Man, so my late podcast co-host Skip and Tosh, that W. Maxwell Prince, like the Ice Cream Man, was his favorite book that was ongoing at the time, and it's actually still ongoing. And it was known, or is known, for just all of these ways where it just kind of plays with the medium of comics. And like, every time Ice Cream Man comes out, it can easily be considered like the best book of the month.
Damn.
For me, though, it's hard because it's a horror book, and it's not a horror book in like that there's jump scares and stuff like that. This is one of those books that just like examines like all the ills of society. Reminds you that it's right there in a book. And it's just like you read Ice Cream Man and you kind of come away from it like, dang, that was messed up, or oh, that was kind of spooky, or like, man, people really are thinking like that. And so it's like there's all these ways where it messes with you. And so it was a book that I wasn't picking up in singles. I decided to read like I think the first 7 issues back to back, and I was like, that is not a book that you can binge. Like there's one issue where it's like a little girl's, I think her sister died, and she was like blaming herself and like being haunted by the sister. There was another one where this dude like decides to jump out of a window, and like on his way down, his whole life is flashing before his eyes, but it's like all the bad things he did in life. And like just there was an Eisner winning, if I'm not mistaken, 2-parter called Decompression in a Wreck. And it literally like takes place over 2 issues, and it's like the whole, I don't know, 12 seconds that it takes for 2 cars to have a head-on collision. And it's like all these people's thoughts during the accident and stuff. So it's like there's all these like, again, like sort of mind-bending, the stuff that you like about Absolute Martian Manhunter is present there in spades. But again, you don't come away from it feeling great about anything you just read. And so it's a hard sell to me.
Yeah, no, I'm a pass, because as much as I love all those things you're saying right there, I might check out that Decompression 2-parter just to see how that's done. But yeah, that's like, I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and I'm also a person who regretted pretty much 90% of the Stephen King books that I've read over my time. Other than The Dark Tower, that I always tell people that's the one series that didn't ruin my life. But a lot of his other stuff, like Running Man, which, like that movie, it looks like it's coming too close to the book, so I'm really not anticipating that. My podcast partner Tatiana went and saw The Long Walk because I was not going to ruin myself again, because I've read it, and it's that type of creepy, spooky stuff that messes with me. Jump scares don't do anything to me.
Yeah.
You know, other than make me jump, of course. But it's that type of stuff. Like, I can watch those type of movies all day. But if you give me a movie or a book or a comic that makes you think, or it's about like regular people doing horrible stuff to other people, I can't do it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I feel you. So I was afraid coming into this. I was like, not even so much afraid of it, but it was just like, okay, what does this team have to offer Superman? And you and everyone else I know who has read it so far is just like, yo, this is amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, that's just a testament to how good this creative team is.
Straight up. It's exact opposite. And, you know, I know that any great, you know, writer and artist can do, you know, all types of genres. You know, I like to explore all type of things. There's stuff I've written and I'm like, well, I'll never read that, but I wrote it. But it's just things like that. So I had no idea about it. I went into Anyone Comics. Shout out to my brother Dimitri in there. And, I was like, okay, what's dope this month? And he handed me this. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Need that. The name, everything and boom. Read it, loved it. Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, beautiful art, beautiful colors. And like I say, if you've never read a Superman comic, if you're new to comics, I feel like this is one of those ones. And that was actually a debate that I've been having, or I saw people talk about. They said that All-Star Superman might be one of those comics that people recommend to people and it's too deep, But I just gave it to someone and they're enjoying it so far. So I don't know. And they haven't read many Superman comics at all. I think both All-Star and there's actually a new edition of All-Star. If you're going into your store to pick up Superman, you can also pick up the All-Star edition. It's a new manga sized edition of the book that's out right now.
Compact comics. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And that, like I say, if you need two great Superman stories, you really can't do much better than Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, and All-Star Superman, which is the new manga edition. So go check it out.
All-Star is really good.
Really good.
I'm trying to remember if it's super new reader friendly.
I don't know.
It wasn't the first Superman story I read.
Yeah, it's definitely not mine.
So but it has all the hallmarks of just classic Superman. So it's hard to say I wouldn't recommend it to new people. If you've seen any Superman movie ever, enough to read All-Star.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And I feel like it's so well done. And all the individual little stories, or even the weirdness of Superman is pretty well explained, the Bottle City of Kandor. And I think the Bizarro issues are some of the ones that might throw new readers off because those are pretty weird and pretty okay, what if you don't know some of the stuff it's referenced and it might seem a little strange. But overall, I think, just pick up that manga edition and check it out because if you haven't, it's just one of the best books ever. And some of those moments are just, oh my God.
Yeah. And that's only $10.
Yeah. So it's grab that joint. It's 12 issues for $10. It's fire. Come on, man.
Now, if you want to splurge and spend a little bit more, they've got a Superman box set that was supposed to come out alongside the movie. But it's a box set of I think 4 or 5 trade paperbacks. All-Star is in there. For All Seasons is in there. I'm trying to remember the other two. I think Kingdom Come.
Okay.
And there's one more. So it's got
That's
all these sort of classic Superman stories in a box set with the cool little Superman logo. I would buy it, but I own those stories. I just still want the box.
I don't have them all, so I might have to hit up Anyone for that. Yeah. And I would like a bigger version of All-Star because I used to have the hardcover, of course, but I don't think I do anymore. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. Word.
Okay. So, well, I guess I get to close it out this month. So the last book I'm going to spotlight is Captain America, issue number 2. Okay. Captain America, written by Chip Zdarsky, art by Valerio Schiti.
Okay.
And let's see, who did the colors? Just since we're shouting out whole creative teams and whatnot.
Try to.
Right. Was this the first of the month? Oh, yeah. Came out beginning of the month as well. So, shout out to Black editors. Shout out to Sydney Stubbs, assistant editor on this one.
Nice.
Frank Martin does the colors. Frank Martin is also the colorist on Absolute Batman. It is a similar color palette now that I'm thinking of it. But Captain America in issue 1 is basically a brand new origin story for Captain America. They kind of shifted his origin. So it's not that he still was frozen during World War II.
Okay.
But he's woken up. He comes out of the ice later. He comes out of the ice basically in the aftermath of 9/11.
Oh.
And so he comes out of the ice and basically joins back up with the army as opposed to directly being recruited to the Avengers. It's that's all he knows is army life. And in the intervening years, they had created another super soldier.
Of course.
And so we've got Steve Rogers Cap, and we've got this super soldier. I think it's David Wolf or something like that. So we got New Cap and Old Cap. New
Mm,
Cap is a redhead. So in the first issue, we are learning like we're seeing Cap come out of the ice and all that, and then we're getting this other origin narrated. I thought what we were reading was uh, a book that Steve Rogers wrote that is
mm,
inspiring this new Cap. It could have been that what we were reading in issue one was the new Cap's journals, um, because he's got a very similar origin. He's a runt. There's a thing that kind of forces him into action. He sees the towers come down as a kid.
mm.
So
Okay.
then when he's old enough to join up in the army, he does so. Um, in issue one, we basically get sent to the this there's a conflict in Latveria. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is this strike team that is assembled that has both caps on it. Steve Rogers, new
Mm,
Captain America, they're both on this strike team. And so they're going to Latveria to just kind of help out or whatever. And what we're seeing is like a conflict between two different ideals.
yeah.
Steve Rogers is still like kind of, we got to do what's right. It doesn't really matter what the orders are or whatever. And, the new Captain America is basically like, yo, like that's not how war works. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting, like this idea of someone from, what we would call the greatest generation. Like, I live in a super conservative area. And it's like when white people get to talking about their grandparents that served in World War II, you know what I'm saying? It's like they were the best people ever. They served their country
Oh.
purely to fight a fight of good versus evil.
Mm,
Right. And I guess that's fair because it's like World War II is pretty clear cut. Like you had straight up dictators trying to take over the world. And so America and the Allied forces are like, nah, we can't have that. We're going to fight for democracy, for freedom. Cool. Right. So somebody who has those ideals coming up against someone who fought in Afghanistan and then just kind of got dragged into Iraq, just that on the whim of the president, not because there's
mm-hmm.
anything that warranted us being in Iraq. And so you've got this grizzled war veteran that's like, no, we're not doing that. Like this ain't how life works. Like I love that you're an idealist, Steve Rogers, but this is what war really is. And so
Mm,
it's a really interesting conflict that I normally wouldn't care about, but
mm.
I like it.
I'm definitely got to check this out. I did not know this. So is this like with this new version? Where are the Avengers and everything right now?
So the Avengers, they still exist. What's not clear to me is exactly when this is happening. So like
Yeah.
still this is post Iraq war, but it's not in the present day Marvel universe
Okay.
because
So
we're
yeah.
seeing the Iraq stuff in flashbacks. We're seeing like when they toppled Saddam Hussein's a statue and all this stuff. And we're seeing those glimpses of like real life American wars
Yeah.
to just paint the picture of who, you know, David is, New Cap
Yeah.
is. Let me look up this man's name. I'm gonna keep saying the wrong thing. Yeah, David Colton is his name.
Okay.
I was getting it confused with another character whose last name is Wolf. But David Colton was formed in like all the modern wars that we grew up on.
The
And
Forever War.
right, right. Foreign interests and all that, like the oil wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. Like this doesn't take place during all the One World Under Doom stuff that's happening right now,
Yeah.
though Doom is the villain. And issue two kind of ends with Steve Rogers being invited into like Doom's chambers for whatever reason. But it's
You
been
know,
interesting.
I think I kind of like that. I know some people like this unified Marvel universe where everything connects and every story connects to each other. But I kind of like this version where it's like certain stories are in whatever, the main timeline and they're all connecting. And then certain stories are just kind of off on their own and telling their own story. And maybe they do connect, maybe they not. We'll see
Right.
how it all plays out.
Yeah, I enjoyed that aspect of it too. This is
Mm-hmm.
my first Captain America series coming off stands. I've read like other stuff in collected editions, but for me to have just picked up my first Captain
Mm,
America #1 and they're like, oh wait, he just woke up in 2002. And it's like,
yeah.
what? I'm confused.
Mm.
But somehow it's going to line up eventually. I'm not really worried about that.
No, and yeah, that's how it should be, honestly. Because One World Under Doom has been dragging. To be honest, I mean, man, yeah, BJ, what messed me up was like 2 issues in. I went and read the old Emperor Doom from the 80s, the
Okay.
graphic novel that I'd never read before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is the same series, but it wrapped up in one graphic novel. And it was such an ill ending. Emperor Doom, I do not want to spoil it for
Yeah.
anyone, but it's basically the same story that's being told in One World Under Doom right now. And it's a graphic novel from the 1980s. So it's just one graphic novel. And the ending is one of them endings where you're like, that's kind of fucked up, ain't it? You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
Yeah.
So I don't know how One World Under Doom is going to wrap up, but having read the story before, I hadn't read it before, but then I read it in issue 2, and now we're still dragging on months later with One World Under Doom. It's like, fam, like y'all could have been wrapped this up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. Modern Marvel has been interesting.
it's
Like
shaky,
I feel
yeah,
like I picked the wrong time to be a comic reviewer because like
man.
they say great stuff about things, and it's like I'm getting these trades, and I'm like, this is better. This is better than what's coming out right now.
Bruh,
I hate it.
yeah. In fact, I'm gonna do this now on air so we can give a shout out to it. I've talked about this site a lot. It's a very random site, but it is one of my favorite sites of all time. SuperMegaMonkey.net. If you are a Marvel fan, check it out. SuperMegaMonkey.net. It has a timeline of Marvel comics where the person behind this site reviewed every Marvel comic and, to the best of their ability, placed every Marvel comic in chronological order, starting with Fantastic Four #1, and then it goes from like everything that happens after that. So it's
Yeah.
like, this is what happened in Fantastic Four #1, kicking off the Marvel universe, and then this happened next, and this happened next, and this happened next, and they got all the way into the 90s. It is an incredible endeavor, and it will just show you how ill Marvel used to be. I mean, way before my time. I'm talking 70s, 80s, like even 90s started really falling apart. Yeah. But the 70s, early 80s, it was just so connected. You would see Spider-Man in one issue, and then he'd turn up in X-Men next issue, and the X-Men would go off planet for 5 issues, so they wouldn't be seen in any other Marvel comics for 5 issues. It was just more of a unified universe. But at the same time, I don't think it was better. I don't know. It is weird because like things like Emperor Doom to me are just better than One World Under Doom. Sorry, but I do love the Fantastic Four that's out right now under Ryan North as much as I love old Fantastic Four from like John Byrne or even Stan Lee that I've read in trade. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's interesting.
yeah, I don't have issues with well, generally I don't have issues with the month to month comics. For me, it's
Yeah,
events that are kind of out of control.
yeah, that's the problem.
Like we got One World Under Doom going on. It is still ongoing.
Forever.
Me- Meanwhile, Jonathan Hickman's got Imperial going,
Ugh.
and it's like, that's his own thing. I don't really do a bunch of cosmic stuff. I'm literally only reading Imperial because it seems to be leading somehow to T'Challa getting back on the throne of Wakanda. Did you see they announced the new Black Panther series?
Nah, I
So
didn't know.
they have a series coming called Black Panther Intergalactic. It's going to be 4 issues. Yeah, there's still Black Panther is still in space.
Yeah.
It's and it's going to be dealing with the aftermath of whatever happens in this Imperial. Is it Imperial or Imperial War?
I don't know.
Whatever happens in Imperial is going to have consequences for Wakanda, and there are some sort of strange forces trying to keep T'Challa from reclaiming the throne, which says to me by the end of the 4 issues, T'Challa is going to be on the throne, and maybe we'll finally get a Black Panther, volume 6, a new #1,
Hmm.
because we haven't had a Black Panther ongoing since Eve Ewing dropped off the title over a year ago.
I mean, that's a little bit of time, but not as long as I thought, really. I thought it was more than that, but yeah.
Probably been more than that. I need to look it up, but
Yeah. No, I mean, I could always deal with it, but man, like you said, these crossovers, and I'm like the biggest Hickman stan in the world, but they've been missing, because that magic, what was that? ish called?
Oh, Gods.
Ugh. And then this, like, I asked Dimitri at anyone the other day, I'm like, yo, is it because, you know, they got kicked so hard after X-Men that now they're just like, fuck it, I'm just getting this check and just giving Marvel whatever? Because, and that's like you said, like, that's why it's so hard for me to take Marvel seriously. Like, when you had something so amazing and incredible, so forward thinking like Krakoa, to just wipe it off the map and go with this nonsense that Brevoort and the rest of the X-Men crew, you know, shout outs to anyone I love over there, but I'm sorry, that's a hot mess right now. So
yeah,
no. But you know, that's why we're here, to talk about other books and talk about things that we love. And you know, maybe X-Men will get it back together one day. We'll always have Krakoa, because those were some great times, man. That, you know, like, you at the perfect time, man, because shit, you was reviewing during Krakoa era, like, you know, that's some of the best X-Men ever.
No, I very much enjoyed that. And now
Man.
they're bringing that back in collected editions. So we get to relive it.
Glorious.
In the next few months, we get the X-Men Red that Omnibus is coming. The Jerry Duggan era is coming to getting a big oversized hardcover.
Nice.
And I think they're doing a Kieran Gillen, like the Immortal X-Men and all that very soon.
Yeah.
Which that was all great stuff. So
all great stuff. So all right. Well, that's been another month of this podcast that we still haven't figured out a name for. You know, Comics Are Dope meets Comics I Copped. Thank you to everyone who's been listening, watching us both on YouTube. You know, like I said before at the beginning, make sure you follow both channels, Comics Are Dope and ForAllnerds, on YouTube, on all the various podcast platforms out there, of course.
absolutely.
Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I mean, hey, look, if y'all want to, support a young black man, you can go to comicsaredope.com/help me out. I'm raising money right now to replace my editing machine and get a new camera. So I have personal wares up for sale. This is not just a give me money thing. You can buy. I got my whole Tom King Batman collection up for sale.
Oof.
Somebody just bought my whole collection of Star Wars Omnis. So plenty of stuff up there that's up for grabs, along with some merch that I'm doing, basically limited run merch just for this fundraiser until we reach.
Nice.
So comicsaredope.com/help me out, because I need it, bro.
All right. Definitely already donated, but I'm gonna have to cop some of that merch. I always love a good t-shirt.
Word.
So I'm gonna have to head over there. And speaking of good t-shirts, every time you can always hit up ForAllNerds.com, of course, and get some of this fire merch, like this Dr. Doom, I'm surrounded by idiots shirt that I'm rocking right now. We're about to drop this and some sweatshirts for the fall and all that. So head over to ForAllNerds.com and get that. Of course, as always, as you see behind me, Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze, my Eisner nominated graphic novel, is still on sale right now. First print almost sold out at the publisher level. So make sure you go get yourself a copy. Hit up Anyone Comics and they'll ship it to you. And if you hit them and say, yo, Ben told me he'd sign it to me, I will do that. So, make sure you head over there. And I think that's about it. I got some new music coming at biddjenergy.com as well. So you want to go over there, drop an email. There will be a lot of new music coming very soon. By the time we do this next month, there'll be at least 2 songs out. So biddjenergy.com. Head on over there and get yourself some of this new fire music that I'm dropping.
Dope. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very excited. I've got a plan in progress, and so it's time. We're gonna see a lot on all these socials, all that stuff. So, and on the comic book note, I actually started plotting out a sequel to Jimi Hendrix. So
okay,
yeah, that might be coming to a Kickstarter near you, because it's probably, I don't know what Titans don't do, so it might be a semi-legal type, sequel.
Okay, unlicensed, unofficial sequel.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Underground. It's the bootleg. It's cool.
Hey man, it's how we gotta make it work.
Right.
Fake it till you make it.